Welcome to Ultra Pro Wrestling.
So freaking bad. Wrestle me.
Welcome everybody to Juice Pro Wrestling, episode 210. UltraMega KO. Yeah, we're back. We're back and we're hard as fuck. Let me tell you, we got a very special guest lined up this week, all the way from the UK. We have one of probably the head developer, I would assume, right? You're the main man for this project, right?
Yeah.
One of the main developers for the up-and-coming Ultra Pro Wrestling video game by Hyperfocus Games.
Oh, man.
He was the only Sam. I'm gonna botch his fucking last name, Valley.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my God!
Sam, how you doing this morning, tonight? I know, across the pond there, it's, what time is it for you right now, brother?
12 at midnight.
Hell yeah. And that's why the people appreciate you, man, because you're working fucking hard. You're working hard.
Yes.
Real quick, before we dive into this, I want to kind of get a background on, for anybody, and you guys have probably seen the trailer because it's just aired before this episode if you're watching on YouTube, and if you are, hit like and subscribe and share and do all that fucking fancy shit. Now, what is your background in professional wrestling to where you decided to make this game? And when me and Bodie seen this trailer, it was like, holy shit, did I get hardcore memories of like No Mercy and, WCW NWO Revenge. Where does it all fucking start for you?
I grew up as a wrestling fan. My big brother was a wrestling fan since the age of 5. He's a couple of years older than me, so I don't even remember a time when I wasn't a wrestling fan. I grew up it was the biggest obsession in my life, WWF, WCW as well. And I actually pursued a career as a wrestler when I was younger. And
really?
Yeah, I went off to, we didn't really have any schools in Scotland. But we had, in England, there was Hammerlock, which Finn Balor was a part of.
Yep.
FWA. So there was a few companies that I was able to travel to in England, and I did a bit of training, but because I lived up in Scotland, I could only go there for a little few weeks at a time here and there. And then eventually they started opening up schools here, and I started going there, and I got to meet people like, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus and all those people.
Awesome.
I actually became a referee for a while, and so I refereed a bunch of matches with those guys when they were dead young.
Were they doing? What were those shows out there? Like, what is it? IWC or what is that promotion out there?
there's ICW and
ICW,
wrestling. Yeah.
Botch.
Yes. So yeah, I actually, when I started training with a company called BCW, I was training alongside the guy who now owns ICW.
Okay.
And so I ended up becoming friends with a bunch of those guys. And that actually kind of ties into this wrestling game because, when I was about maybe 20, I think the dream was kind of fading away. And, I kind of just got involved in other things. And I started sort of deciding that I wanted to, my two biggest passions were wrestling and video games. And I had a friend that did really well with the video games. He now works for Rockstar, and so I saw his path, take off, and so yeah, I just decided that that's what I want to do. I want to do video games, and because I was friends with all these ICW wrestlers, we got to talking one time, and I said, what if I helped make this a video game for ICW, and that's how it all kind of started, and then of course that fell apart a little bit. Yeah, and I'm sure we'll get into all that, but yeah, that's how it all happened.
Now, were you watching? Were you a huge fan of you said WWF with the Monday Nitro thing? Do you get into any of the kind of more underground like ECW or any of the deathmatch stuff?
Yeah, I love ECW. No, I don't have one. I had on yesterday. I had my ECW t-shirt on yesterday. Yeah, I love ECW. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was because I was so young. I was like, as I said, I can't remember a time not watching wrestling. So, I was the WWF the whole way up until I hit those sort of adolescent years. And then you get to a point where you feel like you've seen it all. You feel like you've seen everything. And then all of a sudden you're watching ECW. I remember a time, 1995, 1996, where wrestling wasn't as popular, before The Rock and Austin and all that. And people made fun of me for liking wrestling. Like I felt like I was the only one around. I did have friends that we were into wrestling, but there's a lot of people made fun of you for watching wrestling. And ECW came on, and I was like, "You're making fun of me for watching it. Come watch this." And you'd make a fan out of people because they couldn't believe it, and they'd be convinced that WWE. It's like Paul Heyman says in that documentary. Like WWE, yeah, we get that that's scripted, but this is different. That was the reaction that my friends had watching ECW. We didn't get too much into deathmatch stuff, but I remember we somehow managed to get the tapes of like the Super J Cup, stuff like that. So yeah, we were big into that. We didn't know too much about the Japanese scene, but the Super J Cup was something that we got hold of. And again, that was so different from the WWF, and we loved that. So
hell yeah, dude. And like I said, going back to this trailer and dude, it just brought back like the animations, like some of the I saw fucking straight up what was it, Alex Wright?
Yeah, dude. That's Wunderkind.
That's Wunderkind.
Dude, like,
yes.
Forever, all of us wrestling fans, I mean, it's hard for me, to find a better time in my life where I didn't have such responsibilities and I could hang out all night and maybe illegally underage drink, a bunch of house beers, and play fucking No Mercy or Revenge all night. Literally for 6 to 8 hours,
6 to 8 days.
Yeah. Have the time of my life, like literally be up till it's like, oh shit, we got school in an hour, like
fuck yeah.
Those were some of the most fun times of my life. And I feel like a lot of us out there have been searching for years to find that gameplay again, like some studios have tried. I don't know if I can't really say they've tried, because like the 2K series and stuff, it doesn't even come close. It's more of the simulation type, like some that you could pick up and play. We're hoping that AEW, once it finally drops, kind of brings that to us. But that's exactly the feeling and vibe I got from this game. So instantly when I seen it and found out about you guys, I was hooked. And I'm like, dude, I cannot fucking wait for this, to fucking drop. So like, what is it as far as the development of the game? And I'm noticing a lot of things too, like maybe like WCW NWO World Tour, where there was like the different promotions and shit like that. If you can give us a little behind the scenes on that, what were some of the influences other than the obvious, for the making of this game?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, WCW NWO World Tour. I love those the promotions that weren't the ones you would expect, and there was something. What was it? Independent Union. There
Yeah.
was something just about having that hardwood floor that just made it like just totally. And it's so you look at it now, and all that is just like one little texture that's different, but it just felt just so different. And yeah, I guess if you ever got a WWF game, you would never have that. You would always, it would all just be, you'd have Raw, you'd have SmackDown, you'd have the kind of, but it would all just look like WWF. Whereas having an independent promotion or the DOA, so that was like the deathmatch one. Yeah, that's awesome. Like, yeah, and I don't know, that independent union, that always made me think of like ECW, and especially when ECW would bring in, the Japanese guys like Sasuke, and yeah, I don't know, and of course you got to play as Sasuke and in that game as well. So yeah, the different promotions, all that stuff, that was awesome. And of course, we never had virtual pro wrestling.
Man.
I didn't know of that's existence for years, and you go back and look at that now, and yeah, I think had I played that at that time as well, that would have been up there with all the rest of them. But what you're saying about the multiplayer, sitting around with your friends. I was never a big multiplayer guy, actually. I always liked single player games like Zelda and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, playing No Mercy when you could have the 4 controllers and
Yes.
playing with your friends, and like that just opened my mind about the possibilities of that. And there was so much fun that we had staying up till stupid o'clock in the morning playing those games.
And dude, a lot of those ladder matches, just like it would never end, dude. Like it was almost like watching a real fucking match or something, because you guys, you and your buddies are really competing, and it was, dude, it is just so much fucking fun. And it's like, there is a reason why these games stand the test of time, maybe not graphically, but the mechanics.
Yeah.
Now, and that, obviously you guys aren't a huge studio like 2K or anything like that. You're not trying to compete, graphic wise, but do you feel like your niche is gonna be like, the mechanics of the pick up and play, what's, like I said, somewhat what AEW's, supposedly trying to give us whenever the fuck it drops. I'm trying not to knock them, damn. I've been really nice about it, but now I'm getting a little like, I need it. It's been like 20 years.
It's coming. It's
my
coming.
64 is buried in a fucking box somewhere. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, I obviously knew early on that competing with those games graphically, that was just never going to happen. And actually, as I said, like we started off with a wrestling promotion. I can't remember if I actually told you what wrestling promotion that was, but we started off working with this wrestling promotion to make this game. And we went down the road of trying to be, because these were real wrestlers, these were real people. So we tried to do it that way. And, we don't have the budget, we don't have the big lighting rig that they can step in and get all the photorealism and all that. We had like, SLR cameras or whatever it was, and we were going up and taking pictures and doing what we can. And I think we did an okay job, but obviously it's not going to look as good, and especially nowadays, you just can't compete with that if you're an independent game studio. So yeah, eventually when I broke ties with that company and decided to do this myself, I just started thinking, well, I'm not going to be able to compete graphically, and especially if I'm not allowed to use real people and I have to make fictional characters, I can't make them look like real people. So I thought, I'm going to have to do something a little more, kind of cartoony. And as I say, I kind of like that Disney Infinity style. And one of the reasons I like that is because, sorry, well, I'm going to take a drink. Not so much now, but a few years back, if you created a wrestler in one of these WWE games, they were so obviously a created wrestler. They really stuck out. Now I guess they're getting up there. They're pretty good. It's kind of hard to tell the difference between them. But I remember thinking, you don't want that. You want every created wrestler to look like they were put there by the developers. And so having that sort of Disney Infinity style, because it's fairly simplistic and uniform, and it sort of gives you the opportunity to do that. So, like if you made Bret Hart in that style, he would kind of look like he belongs there. He would kind of look like the developers made him, because you're not going for the realism. You're not going for all the details and
Oh
all
yeah,
that.
I mean it's no different than back in the day. No Mercy, like they would give you just enough to create the guys like moveset wise and costume wise to and maybe even face wise that if you couldn't find the right face for Brett, just throw a pair of shades on him and it's like, dude, it looks like you said, it looks like they put him in the game, like.
I think everybody made RVD as well in that game. Like
always like the first guy, dude. RVD and Sabu were always my first
of course.
Yeah.
They're still on that fucking cart that's 20 years old now, however long it is. They're still on that, man.
Right.
The original cartridge. But as we're talking characters here,
man,
you guys just announced something on Twitter. So there is a really fucking awesome artist that's done some work like for WWE and his own shit and a lot of other people, Hal Haney, that has a bunch of characters. Now, give us a little behind the scenes on that. How did that come together? Because dude's a sick artist, like just comic wise, however you want. I love how he does like the villains like thing. Like he'll have Hulk Hogan, right? And then like all of Hogan's rivals, like in front of Hulk's looking on. I've seen him do that with like Michael Jordan and shit too. He's got like such awesome fucking style and creativity, man. How'd that come together?
Yeah, I mean he does. He's got all those montage kind of images. I actually didn't realize. Oh yeah, shout out. So is that? I know it's South Park, but is that Team America? Is that or?
Yeah, it's a montage.
Everybody wants a montage.
I didn't even know that he had all that other stuff, because obviously he's really big on Instagram.
Yeah.
But whereas I wasn't on Instagram, I mainly just used Twitter. So when I discovered him, I just sort of saw the character designs that he was releasing, and a lot of them were black and white, just the outline, and so I later discovered his Instagram with all the other stuff, and some of he's got like these comic book covers with like Sting and from the 80s and all, and yeah, they're awesome. He's obviously a brilliant artist. But the reason that I sort of was drawn to the character designs that he was doing is because obviously we're trying to create a bunch of characters for Ultra Pro Wrestling, and it's hard coming up with all these characters. And one thing I really don't want to do is not to shit on this game or anything, but there's a game called 5-Star Wrestling.
Yeah.
And so they've got a bunch of fictional characters, but they're very, very like on the nose. They've got Harvey D. They've got Mike Iceberg. It's just it just like, I'm not trying to shit on them, but it feels like they're just not even trying. So like I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to just do like really sloppy, easy parody names. I didn't want to do that. But at the same time, I did want, for the purposes of the career mode, I did want sort of prototypical characters. So like one of the ones that Hal Haney designed that I saw.
Are we going to get Bork Laser?
Oh,
yes, that's it. Yeah, you change a letter here, you change a letter there, and you have him look. You change his hair color, and hey, it's an original character. It's like no.
Cease and desist.
What is that? Dodgeball with a blazer and laser, and I don't know. But yeah, there was one of the characters he had, and it was a character called Buckingham, and it's a British character. And you look at him, and it's like, oh, I can see William Regal, Stephen Regal. I can see him there. I can see the British Bulldog there, but he's not like, he's a sort of combination of a few different characters.
Yeah.
And so I like that. I like that it's not just one character with very slight name change. It's a combination of a few different guys, and you can sort of see all the influence. He's got a guy that's that is like a sort of mashup between Terry Funk and Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it's not just taking that one character and, changing them slightly. He's taking a few similar characters and creating a new guy. So I really like that. And that's what I had been trying to do for the Ultra Pro Wrestling characters. So when I saw that this guy had already been doing this, I was like, oh shit! Like this, all the work that I'm trying to explain to people what the type of characters that I want. This guy's already done. Like he's done it. And I'm scrolling through, and every one of his characters, I'm like, and of course his characters don't really look like the Disney Infinity characters, but there's enough similarities there that I was like, I can see these characters being a part of Ultra Pro Wrestling. So I just sent him a message, and I said to him, like, I basically said, I don't know how this is going to go because as it stands just now, I don't have any money, but I love your characters and I'd love to sort of do something with you. I said, if you're interested at all, give me a couple of weeks because I'm launching this Kickstarter. And if the Kickstarter does well, then we might be able to, discuss things.
Compensation.
Yeah, and then the Kickstarter did well, and it was kind of like, okay, let's talk,
Yeah. What is your plans as far as like a roster or a roster size?
Yeah, so I'm going from the perspective of it's all about the career mode, and I want the career mode to be really vast because part of the career mode is you can go to different promotions, and so that's only fun if there's a lot of promotions. Like if all we've really shown and all that's really listed in the Kickstarter is like a WWF type, an indie scene type, a Mexican and a Japanese type. But we'll have like 2 or 3 Japanese ones. We'll have, we'll have a bunch of indie ones. There'll be the WWF prototype. There'll be a WCW prototype. Of course, there'll be an ECW prototype. So I even want, we're the first, I don't know if I've even mentioned this on anywhere else, but the first sort of part of the career mode is the 80s. And of course,
nice.
I think of like there was a promotion that was an all-female promotion called Glow. So like, I want an all-female promotion, and maybe I don't know what.
That's really cool, man, and especially that's catering to a ever-growing fan base in women's wrestling, which is ever evolving. Like that's super cool, and there isn't really any other games that have focused on that. So right then and there, I mean, there's a good way to get a lot of people interested in that.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if I'll get any backlash though, because this is a new thing to me where apparently this whole intergender thing there's I don't know what the deal is with that, but I get asked a lot if there's going to be intergender matches, and to me I'm of course, like, why wouldn't there be?
There wasn't No Mercy,
Yeah. Well, the way I look at it is like it's a video game, and it's like asking, if you were playing Street Fighter and you choose, Ryu, and all of a sudden Chun-Li becomes grayed out. You're not allowed to. Like, I don't see why that's an issue. It's a video game. We're not condoning anything like that, or Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I just started thinking maybe the fact that we'll allow intergender matches, maybe there'll be some backlash there that I'm not aware of. But
what? Even if there is, it's like fuck it and fuck those people. You're going to have the internet trolls and the people that are sitting behind the computer. They're always dissatisfied with something. And dude, I just read Lita made a comment that she's hoping one day that wrestling can just be like genderless. Which. Hey man, I'm on board for that. There's a lot of promotions. ECW did a lot of cool intergender shit that made sense. Lucha Underground did that. Impact Wrestling did it.
It was Impact, yeah.
They're still doing it. So
yeah, you just reminded me of that Bill Alfonso. What match was that? Was it Bill Alfonso and Beulah?
That was Francine.
Beulah,
yeah.
Beulah McGillicuddy. That bloody ass
Beulah, because Beulah busted his ass open.
Yeah. Shout out to Fonzie, man. He's a good homie, former guest of the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've had him on twice, man. You have to go back in. Anybody else watching, listening right now, go back in our archives and check it out, because he had some really fucking awesome stories.
Great stories.
I'll need to go back and watch those because I love Fonzie. Fonzie's awesome.
We've had Sabu on too, man.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, we're talking about like the art style, the mechanics, all that stuff. Where, like, what kind of modes are we looking for in Ultra Pro Wrestling? I mean, I get we're gonna have our standard, and I watched one of your guys' video, your tag matches, your one-on-ones, the standard shit. Are you guys looking to do? How many weapons and shit are you guys gonna include in this game?
We don't actually have an exact number on the weapons, but we'll definitely have. Well, I can't say we'll have all the weapons that were in No Mercy, because we probably won't have like the cheese and the
Yeah, there was a cheese. Remember?
Yeah.
and the Rock's autobiography. We probably won't get away with that. But
What about like from Revenge? Wasn't there like a trophy or some shit?
oh, was there?
I think there was. There was like an oddball one in fucking Revenge. I think it was a trophy.
Oh, okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, everybody out there, but you know I'm right.
I'll need to go back and look at that. That's I don't know. That's slightly ringing a bell, and I don't know why. But yeah. I definitely like the idea of lots of different weapons types. In fact, like a guitar is a cool weapon that was never. In fact, was it? Because didn't Jeff Jarrett have one in WrestleMania 2000?
I believe he did. Yeah. There's a guitar in WrestleMania 2000.
Yeah. So I mean, we definitely want to take weapons that were in those past games and just kind of expand on them, like different types of guitar. In fact, with the Kickstarter, to plug that. We decided to do exclusive Kickstarter items that you only ever get with the Kickstarter, and one of them is a V.
Yes, fucking Fly V.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Hook your boys from Juice Pro up and throw a fucking BC Rich Warlock or something.
Oh man, I'll grab mine right here. Hold on.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I mean, definitely want to do, but we want to also expand on the way that the weapons are used as well. So like, No Mercy. I feel like No Mercy was kind of heading towards, not just No Mercy, the AKI games were heading towards something. Like you almost saw the evolution of it throughout the games. Like the weapons, I think in World Tour, you couldn't run with the weapons.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then maybe in Revenge, you could then run with them, but if you dropped them, they disappeared.
Yeah.
And then by the time you get to No Mercy, now you can drop them and they don't disappear.
You could throw them in No Mercy.
And you can
There
throw
was
them.
environmental cues too, somewhere like by the ropes and stuff. You would do a different move than you would if you were outside of the ring.
Yeah. So I don't know. I look at the way that they were kind of evolving, and so I sort of say, well, where were they going to go from there? The tables were obviously eventually going to become something more than just
The announce table.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you did have the sort of wooden one backstage, but again, you couldn't do anything. You couldn't pick it up. You couldn't move it around. But we saw them do it with the ladders. You can walk around with the ladders. You can position the ladders, set them up. So they would have done that with the tables as well. So yeah, and then you think about the chair. Like the one thing I always would have loved to have done in those games is the Sabu triple jump moonsault. Of course,
yes.
but you have to be able to prop that chair up to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, things like that. I'm always thinking about. Okay, it's obviously not just a straight like one-on-one remake of No Mercy or anything like that.
Right.
We're sort of trying to look at that game as a baseline and then build on top of it. But everything that we build on top of it, we're looking at what those original developers were kind of going for and trying to do it in a justified way like that.
Yeah, almost be like a spiritual successor, like what would they have done, say, No Mercy 2, or what was the one? They had a name for it.
Backlash.
Backlash. Yeah, it was supposed to be Backlash.
Backlash was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was the last N64 game. If it had been released, it would have been the very last N64 game. But yeah, cancelled it at the last moment. And apparently it was like 80% done as well.
No.
And they cancelled it.
Have you ever seen any like screenshots or anything? Is there anything even out there of that?
I don't think so. I remember hearing a rumor that it was one of these rumors that turns out to just not be true, but there was a rumor
like there's two Ultimate Warriors.
Stuff like
always
not like the Renegade though.
So yeah, well, that's true. Or yeah, I remember when I was a kid, there were 6 different people were the Undertaker and all that. But yeah, so there was a rumor that there was images of Backlash in some magazine somewhere, and I became like obsessed with trying to find it. And I remember thinking like, I wonder if I can go on eBay and just buy all the magazines of
Game Pros and shit.
go through them and find
Game
them.
Informers.
Yeah. So, but apparently it turned out that it was it wasn't to be. Yeah.
So you're gonna obviously, ladder matches, cage matches, first blood matches, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, basically anything that was in those guest referee matches, anything that those games had. I mean, if we're trying to be a spiritual successor, you can't really leave any of that stuff out.
No.
Right.
And then it's all about once we've got all that baseline and it's all functional and all works and there's no bugs and we've got that engine sort of replicated in a way, then it's kind of how do we grow? How do we build on top of what that engine was? And there's some actually one thing that's quite a big deal is that back then the limitations of the N64, you could only have 4 guys in the ring at one time. So that's something that we're no longer limited by. We can definitely put more people in. I'm not sure what the limit is. If you look at M. Dickey, Wrestling Empire, he has 20 guys all flying around, So the idea of a no mercy type game with 20 guys where you could have proper Royal Rumble is just,
that'd be amazing.
Yeah. So
And especially I like the fact that you guys are going to have the online feature too, which is
that's cool.
That's so awesome. If we would have had No Mercy online, today, it's like I just
you imagine
my
that
job and not go anywhere.
I'd be winning belts left and right. I'd be the belt collector. Fucking No Mercy.
Belt collector, yeah.
Oh man, but that's cool. That's one of the coolest features that I saw is that you can go online, win the belt, and then you have to defend it like every week or something like that. I think that's an amazing idea. That is like by far my favorite idea I've seen for a wrestling game.
Yeah, because we talked about it, Bodie. I know you and I, missing like in SmackDown versus Raw when you could, like 2008 and around that era, you could create a fucking title and then defend it online against your guys, and then they would actually win the belt. Yep. It would transfer over to them. Yeah. That's super fucking cool, man.
And then to make them defend it every week on a live stream show is just, the icing on the cake right there. I love that idea. That's going to be so fun to watch and play.
I mean, if you work really hard and you get up the ranks and you win that belt, and then you just see someone else walking around with the same belt, it just feels like you're like, no, but I'm ranked higher. I'm the champion. I should get the respect. I should get, So I thought, no, we'll make it that there is only one belt because it's wrestling, and that's what it is. Here's the online mode. So within the game, of course, we've got lots of different promotions that will go into the career mode and all that stuff. But yeah, on the online mode, we thought, no, let's actually make Ultra Pro Wrestling is the company online. So that's why it's UPW Blast is the weekly show. And, we might end up, if it's successful and does really well, and we might end up making like a pay-per-view sort of thing where it's a different environment. So Blast would be the weekly show, and then, we could have our version of WrestleMania. And I just love the idea of the potential of it can grow so big. Like you could have, we can live stream it on YouTube, on Twitch. I don't know if there's a way of making it so that you could live stream it in game somehow. I'm not sure if that's possible, but I think that'd be a cool idea. I don't know. I just think that, and then of course, if we're live streaming it, we can have real life commentators and commentate on the match.
Yes.
Even have an interview, a promo with the current champion before the match and after the match, all that stuff. I just think it's got so much potential to create its own little universe.
How much?
Love it.
I mean, dude, you're developing a video game, and I have no idea how that's done. We've had like Mike on, the guy who developed a game, came out a couple years ago, Retromania, kind of give us a little inside look at that. But the process, the time consumption from your, normal everyday life, what has that been like so far? And you guys are just, really just hitting, your fucking stride, beginning this thing, and I'm sure now that after the Kickstarter's over and you get the funding you need to do this, like, I mean, are you just going to be consumed by this? Is this a 24/7 deal for you? How does the development of these games go?
Pretty much, I'm going to try and relax a little bit now because up until now, I've been working 7 days a week for the last 9 months. And very, very rarely will I have a day off. And up until the trailer came out, the past like 6 weeks or something like that, getting ready for the trailer, getting everything done, I was waking up at 9 o'clock in the morning and I was going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning every single day. So it was just relentless, nonstop. So that's what I mean when I say I'm going to have to like relax a little bit. I'm still going to work 7 days a week, but I'll try and relax a little bit more, have some free time at night. Because I've got kids and they haven't seen me, and they don't even know what I look like anymore. So
you go home and like, who the fuck's this guy?
Especially when I shave and but so as I say, I've been doing this I started this 7 years ago with this.
And this was just you, or how many people are currently in your crew?
So now, well, it started off just me, and it's pretty much been just me for the longest time. But in the last year, we basically got the office about 10 months ago. And since getting the office, I've been able to have a couple of friends come in and help me when they can. One of them comes in 2 days a week. The other one has 2 other jobs, so it's a bit tricky, but sometimes he'll come in for, 1 day out of the week. Some days he'll have a stretch where he can come in like 4 days in a week. So it's just been kind of very up in the air with how often they can come in. But now with the Kickstarter, these guys can come in Monday to Friday, 9 till 5, proper job, dedicate a lot more time to it. We can actually hire other people as well, because there's other people that are kind of looking to get involved too. But up until the Kickstarter, we didn't know how it was going to go. We obviously hoped it would do well, but the people that I've had coming in and working for me, they've been doing it for free, and they've been doing it under the basis of, well, if we keep doing this, the Kickstarter might do well, and then we could afford to do this full time and actually, quit the other jobs and do this. And of course, I myself haven't made any money, haven't paid myself any money. In fact, I got into debt having the office, but I knew I wasn't able to have people come to the house because I've got kids running around. So having the office was the only option. So I got into debt to get the office. We came very, very close to losing the office because I ran out of money. And it was actually a fellow game developer, Wrestling Empire, M. Dickey. He donated to our Patreon, and literally his donations is what kept us in here. So that's
good on him, man.
That's
good
awesome. Yeah,
dude.
It's incredible.
That's support. That's helping. It's like with us trying to work with other people. In the networking in the community and whatever. Like that's what it's all about. Because if any of us want to get there, we gotta fucking work together.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. So that's where we are now. And now with the Kickstarter having done so well, and in fact, I'm still going to work. I'm going to work 7 days, but I'm going to pay the guys that are coming in to help do the work. I'm only going to pay myself a part-time wage. I'm only going to pay myself for like 3 days a week worth of work. But I'm going to be in here 7 days a week, because if I do that, then I can sort of sustain my existence.
Yeah.
But it then gives me more of that money that we've raised to give to more people coming in, getting more work done, because the hard thing is the animations. That's the most grueling, the most time consuming part of it. Because like, there are a handful of people that see what we've done and they go, oh, okay, you just took the No Mercy cart and like took the animations out, and it's like
I've seen that. A lot of people are like, "Whoa, what do you just cut and paste like it's a fucking mod or something?"
Right.
Like,
yeah. So, but no, it's we go through a whole process of trying to recreate these moves, and people
from the ground up too. That's so fucking cool, man.
Yeah, and it's funny because as well, people that say like, "Oh, you've just somehow extracted the animation data from the game." The modern community of No Mercy and those games have been trying to do that for decades, like So as far as I'm aware, it's just not possible. So it's funny when you see people accusing us of having done that. It's like no. This has been very difficult.
You put out something that everybody's been clamoring for decades now, and some people just still gotta hate. Come on, people.
It's always the case. I mean, it's the internet. There's always going to be
people that shouldn't be there. Hey, looking in your so in the Creator Wrestler, and this is another thing that was a throwback too. Like I love how like the color bar scheme is just like the so simple, dude. Like, and I'm not saying like 2K Creation Suite is like not really user friendly. I mean, it kind of sucks a little bit, and it's so like intuitive and detailed that like you said, dude, like these people are putting wrestlers out now. Like you get any major TV wrestler you want in the creation in 2K, and with like the uploading of the facial skins and tattoos, like to the nines, these look like fucking
somebody
people.
just made Atticus Kogar.
Yeah,
and I'm like exactly like I'm like, holy shit, good job.
Yeah. But it's so time consuming. Like there's so many things I want to do, like content wise, and like do shit with us and create us. But I'm like, man, to any one of us that I would do, that's probably like a few hour experience to like get it done. And then I don't even know how they get like the skins and shit on there. Like it's just crazy work. I miss the old school days of like, you knew it wasn't going to look like the real guy, like real life. But once again, going back to the mechanics, man, it's so fun that like I would spend some time on my Creator Wrestlers and No Mercy because I wanted them with what was available in that game to be the best possible versions of like a Sabu or an RVD, to the fucking taunts, to like the color scheme and shit. But it was so easy to do. It was only time consuming because I'm OCD and I gotta have my guys be the real fucking deal, Because I would play that like as I got older. I think maybe it's like this for a lot of people. Maybe it's not. But when we get older and we stop playing with toys, we're still playing video games. To me, that's me still playing with my action figures,
Damn
like I'm still sitting there doing, but I'm
I still do that
instead and booking matches and like just myself. And I'm like in my own world, like, yeah, this is great. Not talking to anybody. I'm just like, got this dream match going on. No biggie.
You mentioned the color palette change.
Yeah.
That was actually a conversation that I had with one of my friends who comes in and works with me, because obviously we had to discuss, like, in this day and age, it's easy to open up the color palette so that you can have every single combination of color that you can think of. But it's exactly what you're saying. If you give the player the option for every single possible color, if you're making like the Green Power Ranger or something, you can spend so long trying to get that exact right shade of green. And then you're going back and that's not quite right.
Yeah, you see somebody else, it's like, damn, that looks better. I'm just gonna delete these hours of work and download him. I just did that with Danzig and Peter Steele. It was crazy.
But with No Mercy, how many options of green did you have? 3? So it because of how simplistic it was, it forced you to kind of just select one and move on. And it sped up the whole process of creating your character. So I wanted to do more colors than No Mercy because, again, it's an upgrade. It's, but at the same time, I like the simplicity of it. I like that, you're not overburdened with too much choice that you end up kind of becoming bored. Just, the idea of creating a character just becomes boring because you're going to have to commit. Like,
let me ask you this. We're talking about character development for, your original guys and shit. But what if, like I just mentioned, you're the gamer out there that like, I want to build a roster of, my dream roster of real wrestlers. As far as what you can pick out in the creative character, like the outfits and shit, are you guys looking to stack it with, just like general shit? So, that's the other good thing about like 2K. And if you had that back in the day, like they had a pretty good selection on No Mercy and shit back in the day. But other than just other wrestlers, outfits, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Funny enough, I've got a guy on Twitter who he asked me if he could send me some ideas for clothing items. And I'm like, yeah, go for it.
As long as they're not dick pics, brother, DM away.
Well, this guy has legitimately sent me about 200 links to YouTube videos and to images of stuff, and it ranges from like wrestling stuff to like Toy Story, Buzz Lightyears. He just every single day he's sending me about just hundreds of fucking links, and like I'm saying, oh man, I'm gonna have to go through all of this. But I get where he's coming from. Like he just wants everything. He wants to make sure everything's in there, so that you could create a Power Ranger, so that you could create like non-wrestling related stuff, Dragon Ball Z, Super Saiyans, all that stuff. So like, yeah, I get it, and as a fan of all that stuff as well, I'm like, why not? It might not all be there on day one, but over time, we'll keep updating the game. People might send in suggestions. They might send like, hey, you guys haven't done this type of wrestling, but here's the old Texas kind of wrestling boots. You haven't done that, and then we'll have to put that in the game. So I definitely want to have every possible combination of wrestling attire that we've seen throughout the years. But yeah, definitely all this other stuff. You want to be able to make, I don't know, Deadpool or something. You want to be able to make all these crazy characters as well.
Yeah, I just got into that really because you've seen it in the creative suite, the 2K shit. Like as soon as I log in there's like Barney the dinosaur, and like next to T1000, next to Mike Tyson, next to like all these crazy people you never thought. Somehow they make Chucky. But I was never really a fan of that because like you're putting them in a wrestling environment. Like, I mean, I guess it's kind of cool, but I'd like that more for a fighting game, an actual fighting game. I'm always like, if you give me enough shit to work with to create a wrestler, like I have a tank top that I can make any fucking color. I have a regular T-shirt, a long sleeve, and like just the simple shit. That's all. I need, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, I personally, I wouldn't really make like Chucky, but if I had all the bits to make Chucky, I know that I can use those bits to make other people. I can take his hair and make one guy. I can take his dungarees and make Spike Dudley. Like I can. So I would look at people or characters through that lens. I'd be like, oh, that'd be a cool character to have all the bits from, because then I can use those bits to make other guys, even fictional guys.
Let me ask you this. You ever think of, especially, you mentioned earlier at the top of the hour that you had some wrestling ties within the industry now, not going too far out of reach with obvious, full-fledged WWE guys right now. Is there anybody that you would like to maybe, I don't know, throw in? Is there any possibility of like a special, like whether it's a tier or later DLC or something where you actually license a guy like, and hey, you're going to be in this game, real fucking pro wrestler out of it, throw him in that universe?
If it was,
if it was the right guy.
If I could pick any guy in the world, it'd be RVD. He's like my guy. I'd be like,
well, I would RV. Think, yeah, I don't know. He's in 2K, so I don't know if that's like exclusive.
Yeah. In terms of the thing is, we're not really looking to go down the road of real wrestlers,
right?
But in terms of real people that are out there that I could realistically reach out to, and I suspect would be quite happy to be in the game. There's Joe Hendry. I don't know if you guys know Joe Hendry.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe in Joe Hendry, man.
Yeah.
I believe in Joe Hendry. Fucking rules. He got fucking jacked too when he went back to Impact or like later ROH before they went down. I was like, damn, this boy got big.
Yeah, he did.
So I mean, I actually know Joe Hendry. I knew him from the Scottish wrestling scene and everything.
That's what I'm saying, and I think he's a big. He could almost be like your mascot. You don't even have to include any other wrestlers, but it'd be cool because it is that tie-in. It's that crossover. You know.
I mean, it would be so interesting and almost weird, but weird in a cool way, where there's this game and we have just a bunch of fictional wrestlers that are kind of Street Fighter type characters, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, there's Joe Hendry, and he's the only one that's a real like.
Yes,
that would be fun.
Yes,
that would be rad.
But yeah, that's something I actually would consider doing just because of how much I like the guy. So I would actually consider doing that.
Hell yeah, it'd be a wise choice. He's very, very fucking entertaining.
He is.
What are you watching right now as far as pro wrestling goes? And anything, is there anything else you see maybe in modern gaming, wrestling games or the modern retro ones that you've seen that you might want to be influenced by or take away from, anything like that you've seen in, like, whether it's WWE or, like I said, Retromania, or I know there's a couple other ones out there I haven't played, but there's quite a few wrestling games starting to pop up. Is there anything you're seeing that you like what they're doing?
So because I'm actually working so much on this, I tend to miss a lot of what's going on. I tend to miss a lot of programming. I don't keep up with WWE.
Right.
If there's a major storyline going on and everyone's talking about it, like the Sami Zayn stuff, I'll watch the videos on that, but I don't watch on a regular basis. Same with AEW. I don't watch it regularly, but if there's like a cool MJF promo that everyone's buzzing about, I'll check.
You're
an
MJF guy, huh? That's some of the modern guys you like.
I quite like MJF. There's big. I mean, as I said, I'm a wrestling fan since I was a kid, so him playing into the whole like kayfabe like heel character, like I love that. That, like, I don't know, it just maybe it takes me back to my childhood. That, like, there's something I really love and respect about that. But no, in terms of a video game, and that's actually true as well with video games. I haven't played a video game in a long time. I think the last game that I actually played and sat down and completed was Red Dead Redemption 2. And I'm not even sure when that came out now, but I know it was a long time.
It's been like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
So that was the last time I properly played. In fact, that's a lie, because my son,
great game.
My son's really big into Cuphead, so I've played a little bit of Cuphead.
Oh, dude, that game
Cuphead's
kicks
pretty
my
cool.
ass.
Pretty cool.
I buy all the DLC that I don't never beat because I still haven't beat the first game. And it's not for lack of trying, but it's enjoyable to lose in that game because the art's so beautiful, dude. It's it's so fun. It looks like you're playing an old school, Disney Steamboat Willie fucking deal,
and maybe it's because it's so hard and you do die all the time that there's something about it that's just you want to keep going back.
Yes.
It's super addictive. But in terms of you said about, is there a wrestling game that has an element or a feature that I like? Going back to M. Dickey again, I think it's probably because I've got him on Twitter and I see a bunch of clips from him. But a clip that I saw fairly recently was he actually had a sort of big boss man character, and the match, the opponent he had handcuffed. And so the opponent is with the arms behind him, handcuffed, and he's still doing moves to him. He's giving him like a pile driver, and the guy's handcuffed the whole time. And I'm like, wow, never saw that before in a wrestling game that I can think of. That's awesome. That's really original. And of course, it's because of M. Dickey that we have this office, so I can't just go in and like steal it, But I wouldn't do that to him. But that's something where I'm like, that's a brilliant idea. That's really cool. I like that. So he has a lot of unique ideas like that. I think he probably has lots of matches that you don't see in wrestling games, like a dog collar match. He probably has something like that in the works.
Yeah. And was that rumored to be? Was that going to be on Fight Forever? I don't know. Have you heard anything about that?
Oh, I don't know.
I know they have like exploding.
They were talking about it. Yeah, they got the exploding barbed wire death match.
Exploding barbed wire shit show.
I would love to see a dog collar match in a game. That'd be fun.
Yeah, but dude, that's the dude you mentioned that does that Wrestling Empire shit, that mobile stuff, right?
Yeah.
That I've downloaded once, but I never played it just because and no offense to them, but I can't, like, me and my phone video games just don't work, like.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. A lot of people, to be fair,
I'm not a Switch guy.
That's I'm sure it's on the Switch actually, because he's been doing it for so long. I think
it's been a long time.
Yeah, his games used to be just the 2D games, the 2D mobile friendly games, but he actually now he's got a 3D environment. So it's the same sort of style, but it's now a 3D environment. And I'm sure that's on Switch as well. So that's worth checking out. I'll give him a plug for that, definitely.
Maybe I will check it out. My lady got a Switch, but like 2 years ago for Christmas, and there's probably a quarter inch of dust on it. I bought her Animal Crossing. I'm like, why the fuck you want this game?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you're 35 years old. Grow up, girl. Get a phone.
No.
So speaking of platforms, real quick though, you guys are looking to release this on everything, right? Like, are we talking? Who knows when they're going to phase out the PS4s and the Xbox Ones? Because I'm still rocking those systems. Is it going to be available on all gens?
So because we're not so sure, there's so many things that are kind of up in the air.
Right.
We may end up we might self-publish. We may end up talking to publishers, and then that sort of opens the door for it might not be our decision necessarily what versions of things, or I should say whether or not we get a physical version of things. But we will at the very least have a physical version of the Switch. That's confirmed. We're definitely doing that, and at least a digital version of the Xbox and PlayStation, and it'll be PS4 and PS5 versions. We just can't say if they'll be physical, because I want there to be physical copies, but it might end up being that it's only physical on PS5 and not PS4. So
who's that company that does all the? They do a lot of physical stuff, and they're doing re-releases of Zombies Ate My Neighbors. You can get brand new Sega versions and shit.
Is it Red something?
Some with an R or an H. I can't remember.
Yeah. Oh God.
But they're putting all kinds of shit out, dude. Like the Ninja Turtles games that came out. I got some from them, and so other than that, you can't get any of these major companies that are pushing out games like that.
Yeah. So I mean, we want to have we want to have everything. We want to have all the physical copies. We want it to be a major release kind of thing. Yeah. And although we are small independent company, that's what I was going to say. I just remembered. We were talking about the mobiles. There's so many people, or not so many, but there's a handful of people that have asked, is this going to be a mobile? Is this going to be a mobile? And it's well, first of all, no. Ultra Pro Wrestling wouldn't run on mobile. It just wouldn't. But at the same time, like you said there, I don't know if I'd want it to run on mobile, because those mobile controls, especially for a No Mercy type of game, I don't think that could.
No.
Get a Switch if you're going to do that. Then at least it can feel somewhat mobile. And like I said, I'm not even comfortable doing that. Don't get me wrong, that's a cool concept, but I'm old school, man. I just want my TV and my controller,
There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe an arcade machine,
Yeah. No, I mean, I've got a Switch for my son, but we never use the Joy-Cons. We always use the proper controllers. Mm-hmm. Even though it's hard to get ones that work properly, because they always run out of battery or whatever. But yeah.
Well, dude, in order for you guys to even get this game fucking coming out and everything that we discussed tonight, people got to help out, help fucking get this thing rocking and rolling. You have a Kickstarter that's going. As of this recording, I believe it ends in 8 days or something like that.
Yeah.
So as you guys are watching and listening right now, you only got maybe a few more days left. So where can people find that Kickstarter at? And obviously there's going to be a link, but if you want to talk about that and real quick, some of the bonuses, some of the perks that people get.
I mean, that's one of the things that we thought. Anyone goes to ultraprowrestling.com, the Kickstarter's link buttons and all are right there as well. The actual link, I think it's kickstarter.ultraprowrestling.com, I think. But yeah, we have a bunch of rewards, incentives. There's a reward for an actual replica title of the online championship belt. That's the kind of more expensive reward. But we've been talking with the belt company about getting it done, and supposedly this belt company, they're saying it's going to be real leather. It's like the 4mm plates. It's going to be as good as any replica belt that's out there. So I need to get the guy to send me a sample because
that's killer. You need to get Joe Hendry on real quick and do a little tie-in with Impact too, and get that digital media crossover, that championship. Let it actually mean something.
Yeah. He's doing a lot just now with all the the Dreamcast and the VR headset, and
that shit with Moose was, dude, that was entertaining.
Classic.
That was entertaining as hell.
The dancing, yeah. I mean, this probably isn't possible, but if somehow Joe Hendry could show up on Impact with that replica title, that'd be amazing.
It'd be nuts.
Just to play into the whole digital game stuff that he's doing. But
maybe we'll make it a point. I'll bother the hell out of him on fucking social media and send him the links to this.
Keep tagging him.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, the Kickstarter. We have the exclusive items. There's a few exclusive attires and the exclusive weapon, which is the V-shaped guitar. So one of the things that I actually don't like doing this, because I don't like limited. I don't like the idea of someone missing out on an item. But we're in a situation.
I still don't have my Tom Savini skin from Friday the 13th, and I bought it. I bought it off eBay like a code, and then I uninstalled the game. And when I put it back on, it was gone. I was like, damn it! People wanted like $130 just for the skin.
Yeah. I mean, I'm bad for it. Like as I say, I haven't played video games in a long time, but I'm a big Hitman fan, and I like all the costume, all the costumes and stuff like that. I think now they do it where if you miss a certain time reward thing, then you miss out. And I'm not typically a fan of that, but again, we need a reason for people to back the game now rather than waiting. So that seemed like the most logical kind of option to offer people. If you back it now, you'll get that, because you never know. This game could end up being a staple for years to come, and and if you're one of the people that missed out on that item, you might be kicking yourself later. So go and help us out and donate and all that stuff. That's my heart.
Yes, everyone out there, donate, please.
Yeah, donate money, donate blood, donate.
Do what you got to do.
I might be asking a little. Do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do. Make it happen. Donate. Get the belt.
That's right.
Sam, wear it everywhere, to the grocery store and defend it. Just start booking people around the store. Hold up, the champ. I'm the champ. Where'd you get this belt, sir? Can you leave?
Yeah. Who was the guy?
Actually, do you know? I'll tell you something. The belts, I wasn't sure how they were going to go. The belts have just about sold out, I think.
Nice.
We started off with just an order of 30 of them. But then they sold so quickly. I was like, oh, right, okay. There is quite a demand for this, so we upped it to 50. And I think there's only like 3 of those ones left. But then we added a few more for the belt package comes with the Steam version of the game. So then we added another belt package with the Switch version and another belt package with the Xbox, PlayStation version.
Very cool.
So yeah, they've surprisingly been selling out fairly quick.
Fuck yeah. Well, dude, it's been a fucking pleasure to chop it up with you.
Yes.
When we get closer to more development and launch of the game, I'd love to have you back and discuss everything. And we wish you all the best, dude. Everybody be sure to fucking check that Kickstarter out and support Ultra Pro Wrestling. Oh God, they're bringing back the old school. Fuck yeah, dude. I can't wait, man. Once again, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Like, subscribe, share. If you're listening on any podcasting platform right now, the easiest way to support is just rate and review. That's all you got to do. Just
and listen more.
Click. If you want to buy some t-shirts, we have some fucking shirts available at prowrestlingtees.com/JPWtees. There's 3 designs. Get them and look fucking killer. Until we meet again, the Juice, Bruiser Bodie, Shred the Savage, and fucking Sam, Botch Valley.
Here it is.
Wrestling in the motherfucking house. Wet 'em up. Wet 'em
Let
up.
him up.
Wet 'em
Let
up.
him up. Whoa, yeah. Yeah.
It's so fucking wet for Ultra Pro Wrestling. If you don't back this fucking game and support, you're gonna lose your motherfucking life.
You gonna do sex to me? Did you like that video? If so, be sure to hit like and subscribe and check out more killer content from your boys at Juice Pro Wrestling. Whoa, yeah!